James from Roman 3 here. If you've been following our channel for a bit, you'll have heard us talk about a number of ways that you can improve employee performance, engagement, inclusion, and productivity, all while creating an environment where people actually want to show up to work. A big part of that, a big part of creating that environment is to help people to align what motivates them, their purpose, to the job duties that they will perform. Now, to illustrate, I want to tell you a story. I started my career working as an educational assistant in high school while completing my human resource management and labor relations degree. There are many aspects of the job that I really enjoyed. The kids were great, and I got along with most of my colleagues. But there were also many aspects of the job that just left a lot to be desired. When I started out, I found out that because of my prior experience and my education, I was able to start at the highest pay designation. It was EA1. Great, right? You know, I was in my early 20s. I get to start at the top of the pay scale. Well, it was great for a few months until I realized that there was absolutely no way for me to advance in the position. No matter how hard I worked or how well I did my job, I would never be able to grow into a position with more responsibility. There would be no raises or performance bonuses other than the students that I worked with. There was absolutely no incentive for me to even try at all. Now, for me, this is one of the worst environments that I can find myself in. I'm driven by the need to achieve. What drives me in my career and now in my business is the need to set and then accomplish my goals and then move upwards to the next challenge. When I don't have that ability, when I feel constrained or restricted, I lose all motivation. I get bored with the job really quickly, and boredom is a terrible and dangerous thing at work. My job in the school board provided no means for me to meet my need to achieve. So the question I want to ask, one of the questions I want to ask is, what happens when employees don't find their motivation at work? People aren't going to just ignore what motivates them. What they're going to do is going to look for other means of meeting their motivation. Now, the way that I decided to meet this need to achieve things came by getting involved in the labor union. Here, I was able to keep moving forward from steward to then chief steward and president of the local, to getting involved in the provincial union as a trainer, sitting on occupational councils, regional councils. I helped form a young activist committee and sitting on the provincial board of directors. And it also provided me with an opportunity to get involved at the federal level through young workers forums. All of these activities not only took my attention away from my job, but also physically removed me from the workplace on a regular basis. My job became a task that I had to complete so that I could move on to the work that would allow me to achieve, that would allow me to meet my need to achieve. If you don't find a way to align your employees' sense of motivation with the job that they are performing, then you will always be competing with something else for their attention. Now, as a point of clarity, oftentimes when experts talk about aligning purpose at work, they're talking about the big picture. What is your company's purpose in the world? What's the big change that you're trying to make? And aligning that big world-changing why in a couple different ways. A big picture why will inspire motivation, but it will not sustain motivation. And now it should be fairly evident that you want to sustain employee motivation in the long term. However, I do like to try to back up all my claims with data. So here we go. 70% of people say they define their purpose through work. And actually, millennials, even more so, are likely to see their work as their life calling. If people are searching for purpose at work and you don't help them find it with you, then they're going to leave and find it elsewhere. The second stat I want to share with you is that in surveying thousands of employees and managers, this was done through Gartner, we found that sustainable performers were 17% more productive than other employees and 1.7 times more likely to stay with their organization. So if you can sustain motivation for people, it's going to lead to more productivity and less employee turnover. Fantastic. And the last stat that I want to share is that nearly 80% of employees that were surveyed reported that they want to work at an organization where they feel connected to the purpose and the people. And 85% of HR professionals agreed that employee connection is a critical part of the overall success of an organization. So we know that employees are searching for purpose in the work. And we know that finding purpose improves productivity and reduces employee turnover. And we also know that an employee's connection to work is a critical part of the overall organization's success. So with this knowledge, what are you doing as a manager or as a leader to align your employees' purpose to their job? Because remember, like this story that I told, yes, that's one example, that's my example. It highlights how if people do not find their spark of purpose at work, they are going to find other ways of fulfilling that. Ways that in all likelihood will either take their attention away from the job at hand or cause them to leave your organization to pursue an opportunity where they can find their purpose. Thank you for joining us. If you want to hear more about how do you sustain purpose at work and what you can do as a manager or as a leader to create an environment where people feel respected, trusted, encouraged, and inspired, then subscribe to our channel. We post these videos on a regular basis as a way of trying to help you to achieve those goals. So thanks for now, and we'll see you next time.